What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Random Encounter Podcast, episode 80, 86. I almost said 85. Sorry. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by Bryant
Live from Ida 7.
and Phaneckswhy.
What's up? What's up?
I'm looking at my camera quality. It looks weird. I don't know.
You look a little dark maybe, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Like on the preview for the camera hub, it looks different than on here. I wonder why. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, maybe because I have it on standard. Let me see what happens if I put high. Nothing happens. Oh, standard. No, high.
There's like a medium in there somewhere that would work
Yeah,
well.
there
That's
isn't a
better, I
medium.
guess, but
Yeah, there's a medium. It's this, but the other one gets too bright. Yeah, and it looks weird. But
mm.
anyways, we'll figure this out later. Yeah, we got quite a few things to talk about today. Such as Nintendo Switch rumors. Once again, Nintendo Switch rumors are out there, and these are kind of interesting. These are rumors that I actually am believing. I've mentioned before that when it comes to Switch rumors, there's specific rumors I really follow that I think are credible and specific sources that I look at before we go into actually like saying, okay, this might be real or not. But these two sources, I do feel that they're pretty credible, so I do want to talk about that as well as celebrating Super Smash Brothers. Super Smash Brothers has been around for over 25 years. I want to say, yeah, 25 years. 1999 came out, so yeah, 25 years of Super Smash Brothers, which is crazy. It's a franchise that honestly I didn't think it was gonna become a big franchise. It was one of those things that Nintendo was always experimenting. I thought it was just an experiment that was just gonna happen, but no, this is a beloved franchise that a lot of people still play. But before we get into those topics, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. It's so close at that. Sitting at 846 subscribers, so every bit does count. Share the channel, that does help out a lot. As well as follow over at Twitch as we do simultaneously stream on both YouTube and Twitch. So before we get into
Before we
this,
jump into Switch,
yeah, go
are we
ahead.
gonna talk about what we've been playing?
Yes, I was just about to say
Okay.
that. Let's talk about
Okay,
what
sorry.
we've been playing. Let's start because I know what you're gonna talk about. So let's start with you, fan. What have you been playing recently?
I'm still doing the same thing I've been doing. I was just playing Breath of Fire 4 like a few hours ago, before I took my nap.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Still slowly going through that. And I saw your Twitter post about Breath of Fire 4 on it too. So
Yeah, it's one of those games. It's still to this day. I mean, you've seen it for yourself. It looks gorgeous. Like the art style they chose for that game is pretty much timeless. And I'm the person that I say a lot of PS1 games don't really look that great, but in the case of Breath of Fire 4, it looks amazing still. If only there was some type of like HD texture mod or something like that, which I believe there is one out there. I just don't know if it's fully like for every area and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, it would be a nice remaster, honestly. If they do a remaster of it, I'm pretty sure it would look really, really good. As for Bryant, go ahead and talk about what you've been playing.
Okay, deep breath, chest out. Man, I am speechless, blown away, astounded by Stellar Blade. I've been playing it pretty much nonstop since yesterday. The feeling that I have for Stellar Blade is pretty much the feeling that I wanted to have for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it just didn't materialize. Um, Stellar Blade. I mean, I started playing it yesterday, and I loved it, and it was great, and the music is just so good. The art, the aesthetic, um the landscapes, the desolation, the action, the battle system, just the feel, the vibes. It's just so incredible. It's like there was an interview recently where the creator of Nier Automata was talking about Stellar Blade, and he's like, "This game's better than Nier Automata." Like I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like that. Like this
He
blows
did,
Nier
yeah.
Automata out of the water. Yeah, and I thought he was just being nice. Like I thought he was just kind of trying to compliment another game developer, or whatever. But like, I'm a huge Nier Automata fan. I freaking love Nier Automata. But like, he was right. This game is kind of better than Nier Automata. It's a different feel. Like I would say Nier Automata is a lot more in like the Devil May Cry Bayonetta
Yeah.
sense of like combat. and this is closer to like Star Wars Jedi as far as like the feel goes, and it is kind of like a Soulsborne game. Like there is like kind of the equivalent of campfires, and the enemies respawn when you rest at them. You get like heals you can use, but it's a lot more direct and phonetic. And so I was playing it all day yesterday, and I just was blown away by the landscapes, blown away by the city. It's all torn to pieces. There's water and rain everywhere, and then the boss fights are just so epic and cool. And then today I started playing it again, and you get to this area where you go into a city, and the city is like it's like a populated city. Like there's some people that are in it, and it's like an area you go to after you kind of get through the first mission or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's just so much detail in this city, like where all these people live. And like you go into every nook and cranny. Like I went into this like this guy's like I don't know like apartment or store or something like that, and he's just like standing there and like he's surrounded by like all these teddy bears, like 100 teddy bears, and it's just like you want to know more about this guy and why he has like 100 teddy bears in his house or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's just like all this stuff on the walls of just like propaganda about like the city that you're in, and the people that rule it and everything. And it's just I am literally stunned by how much I like it. If you would have told me last year that you're gonna like Stellar Blade more than you liked Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I would have told you that you are taking something crazy, because that's not what I anticipated. Like honestly, cannot recommend enough. I really hope one of these days you're able to nab it, because I would love to hear either of you guys' thoughts on it. It's cool. I believe it's a Korean developed game. It's not, we don't get something from that area super often. But it's yeah, it's so far it's for me it's 10 out of 10. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm about a quarter of the way through it, but I cannot recommend it enough. It's great.
No, I was playing the demo yesterday, testing out Chiaki for deck again, and well,
Was
actually,
that the first time you played the demo?
uh, the second time. The first time I was testing
Okay.
it with Chiaki, and it was just super like unstable for whatever reason. So I kind of like switched over and started using Chiaki for deck instead. And playing it, yeah, the combat's pretty smooth. Like the music, like the background music in the demo, I like it. It has a like near vibe slash. It
Very
reminds
much.
me of
Yep.
like Final Fantasy 13 2's soundtrack. It has
I
a
put
very
I
like
tweeted that. I tweeted that.
yeah.
Did you see my tweet?
I did not see that. No.
Yeah, I tweeted that. That's so funny.
Yeah, because it reminds me definitely of like 13 2 soundtrack, which is
Yep.
nice. Like I like the 13 2 soundtrack. It had a unique style compared to a lot of other games. So it was dope. I really do like it, and I want to go ahead and get the full game eventually. It's just a matter of like there's a lot of things that I'm working on here and trying to get. So eventually I'll get to it, and then you'll be able to hear my thoughts and see what I how I feel about the game for sure. Um, yeah, as for me, what I've been playing, you know, retro games still. Like I played a little bit of Star Ocean, the second story art again. Progressed a little bit, then I stopped, and it's been a weird week for me. Didn't feel good earlier in the week again, so I was like just relaxing, so I didn't get to put out a video this week. And then the little bit of gameplay that I did do was just like I wanted something quick, so I was playing it's semi quick, right? But I was playing Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and I call it quick because I can save anywhere. Where Star Ocean, the second story are, there's specific save points, right? It's a PS1 RPG, so you have to go to the save points to save, and it's just like I don't have time for that right now. I just want to be able to do something real quick, save it, and then continue on. So I was playing with that. A lot of me was actually just messing around because Lime 3DS, which is another 3DS emulator, I was just testing those out to see how it works. And unfortunately, the current build of Lime 3DS does not work on Steam Deck, but works fine on Mac OS and on Windows. But on Steam Deck, it just like you go to open it and it doesn't do anything. But the other Citra fork that I've been using, they just updated, which fixed a lot of issues because when I would play like Super Smash Bros. 3DS, some of the levels would skip, like or not skip, but it will like lower to like 45 FPS. The latest build now fixed that, so now it runs at 60 FPS all the way through, which is nice. And overall performance seems to be a lot better in general, like in Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. I'm not getting the stutters that I used to get on older builds, which is nice. Which I'm not exactly sure what it's doing different, but it's nice to be able to play. It feels like it's natively on the 3DS, and I do own that game on 3DS. I just don't feel like taking out my 3DS, even though I did take it out to test out the Final Fantasy 1 3DS for or 3D 3DS game, which is kind of cool because the whole game is in 3D. So you go around the world map and everything just looks pretty awesome. It's basically the PSP version of the game but ported to 3DS, and it's definitely a cool way to experience it. There is an English patch out, so the best way to do it is go ahead and patch the game so you can play it all the way through. But I'm definitely gonna go ahead and play that all the way through because I think it's awesome in 3D. It's nice to see a Final Fantasy game in 3D, and honestly, I wish they did that with just I don't know. It would have been cool if they just ported all of those to the 3DS anyways, because they're very unique, and it's just one of those things that 3D like Nintendo handhelds, they had unique features, and that's one of those where unfortunately you can't really experience it if you don't have that device. So 3DS is still worth it in 2024. I highly recommend getting a 3DS, even though there's things like Citra out there. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some smaller news out there. First off, Fallout 4 just got an update for current gen update, right? It's not a next gen update because this is current gen. We're already 4 years into this generation. It is current gen. So they got a current gen update. So players are able to play Fallout 4 with, just better graphics and things like that. Overall, higher frame rates, all that other good stuff, which is kind of cool because the Fallout TV show did come out. I finished the TV show and I like it. It's actually really good. It's nice because it doesn't follow any Fallout storyline. Again, I'm not a Fallout expert. I've tried Fallout games. I've just never played them through because they're not my cup of tea. But what I do know is it's kind of following its own storyline, but with the Fallout lore, which is kind of cool. And I remember when The Last of Us was airing, and we were talking about that. I had said that why don't video game companies with certain worlds just create like their own characters, their own world, rather than try and copy pasting, from a game, right? Certain things won't make sense, right? Like Sonic the Hedgehog, you're not gonna make a spin-off. You're just gonna do Sonic characters. Mario's another great example. Those are really established characters, so you can't really make your own character in those worlds. But something like The Last of Us is a big enough, I think, world that you could expand on that with brand new characters, original stories, things like that. Halo's another one. Like, it does not have to be about Master Chief. Master Chief is not the only one fighting the Covenant. You have other Spartans out there. There's other soldiers out there. They could have easily done something except for Master Chief. And I guarantee you, if they didn't use Master Chief, the Halo TV series would be way better than what it is now. The issue they have is they're using an established character and changing that lore, and that's when everybody gets upset. So Fallout, they kind of did their own thing, and it paid off because it's a great TV show. So yeah, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door got a new trailer. Some things were confirmed. It is 30 FPS. A lot of people are upset at that. It is a step down because the GameCube version was 60 FPS, but the graphics have been overhauled. I don't remember if Origami King was 30 FPS or 60 FPS. That I'm curious about because graphically speaking, it looks like a little bit better than Origami King. So it'll be interesting to see if Origami King was 60 or if it was 30. But
I'm looking right now.
okay, cool. It is showing the Nintendo Switch's age, unfortunately, and hopefully Switch 2 comes sooner rather than later. Game looks gorgeous.
It's 30, I think.
Is it 30? Okay.
I think so.
So if it's 30, then it kind of makes sense then. But graphically, it is a step up. It's not like a Tales of Symphonia thing where Tales of Symphonia on GameCube was 60, and if you look at the version that's on Switch, you're like, it doesn't look that much better. There's no way that this should run at 30 FPS. So it's not that situation. Also, fast travel. So fast travel was kind of in there in Thousand Year Door, but there was like multiple rooms you had to go to fast travel to certain areas. Now the fast traveling is done all in one room. Similar to Origami King. Origami King had the same thing where there's one room and that's how you go to different sections into the world. So that's pretty cool there. But yeah, Paper Mario comes out next month in May, so we're getting close to that, and I'm excited for that. That is a game I want to pick up, and hopefully I have everything set so I can pick that game up because I do want to play that for sure.
I got mine pre-ordered with the voucher. I got that and Luigi's Mansion 2 with the voucher, so I'm set.
Nice. What about you, fan? Are you gonna pick up Paper Mario at all?
I don't know. I mean, I want to play it because I played the one on the original one on Nintendo Switch Online. It's just it's gonna be another game that gets pushed behind all my backlog, unfortunately.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm still playing freaking Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Ghost of Tsushima, and then now I'm playing like Breath of Fire 4 every once in a while, just picking it up like, you know, an hour or two here every once in a while. It's
Are you
just
any further in Rebirth, fan?
no.
Okay, still in Junon, I think you said.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't worry,
It's just finding time, you know?
yeah, my time has become the streaming it, because if I didn't stream it, I probably wouldn't have done it. Even though yesterday, if I wasn't
Hey,
in
I'm keeping you
a
company, man. I'm
storyline,
trying.
you are, and that makes it a lot better. Uh, but like yesterday, like because I'm in a story sequence, I didn't play it because I was like, oh, let me test out Chiaki for deck using Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But I'm in a story sequence and I want to stream that versus play it on my own. I was gonna do like some
Yep.
side quests and stuff like that, but I'm like, eh. So I played a Celebrate demo instead. But yeah, backlog is crazy, and then me is just, you guys know my mindset lately has been like, I don't know, the current games are just not giving into me, so I'm just going back to playing older games and having fun playing games that I might not have finished or beat, or maybe I never picked up at the time, or that I have and I just never got around to playing it. So stuff like that, like Alpha Sapphire, I own it, I just never got around to playing it. So that's one of those. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Super Smash Brothers. 25 years of Super Smash Brothers, which is crazy. Like I'll never forget the first Smash Brothers. The way I found out about that game was, which is probably the way a lot of people found out, was the commercial that they aired, where it has all the
They're
characters
all
in like
bouncing.
yeah, they're in that suit and they're like jumping around together, and then next thing you know they start fighting. I was like, oh man! Once I saw that, I was like, whoa, this can't be real, is it? Sure enough, it was real, and went to Blockbuster, and that's how I played it. We rented it. I rented it multiple times, and just loved playing it. And I never got around to unlocking the characters. That was the only thing, because of course I was renting it, so never got around to unlocking all the characters. I knew there were unlockable characters. I just never got around to that. But then the first Smash game I owned was Melee, because I bought that. I don't know, why did I buy that? I just know I bought it. That's all it is. And
Okay.
yeah, and I would play that nonstop. I unlocked every character there. My cousin got me into like the more competitive scene and actually showed me Melee is more than just this basic fun game. Like there's a lot of like in depth like fighting mechanics. He showed me like wave dashing, and all that stuff.
Wave
So
dancing.
yeah, yeah, wave dashing. So yeah, that was cool. Like, did you guys ever play the first Smash Bros?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had it on 64. I had Melee. The only version of Smash I didn't have on a home console was on the Wii U.
Okay. You didn't own a Wii U, right?
No,
No. Okay. What about 3DS?
I
That must
own
have
one
been.
now. I
Yeah.
didn't own a 3DS. I didn't own a 3DS at the time either. Like, I
Oh.
only just recently bought a 3DS last year, so
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Your
No.
background's very appropriate given the topic.
I know.
No, Smash 3DS and Wii U. Those are two games that I feel that are like, I don't know. I feel,
Underappreciated,
yeah, underappreciated. Wii U,
or just
unfortunately,
like below the
because
radar.
yeah, because most people didn't have a Wii U, right? So it's like it came and went. 3DS, more people definitely had a 3DS, but people wanted like the home console, and I just think the 3DS version of it was great. The only negative I have about it, which is not really a big negative, was that there was only 2 tracks per stage. And I liked all the music in Smash, and I wish there was more, but 2 tracks per stage is not that bad. But everything about Smash 3DS was just amazing. I'll never forget when I picked that up. I went home and I was like, man, it's crazy to be able to play Smash Bros in your hand. Like this was the
How
first
many
time.
stages do they have on 3DS?
I believe they had the same amount of stages as the Wii U.
I
Because
mean, that's pretty impressive to have
mhm,
just 2 tracks per stage if they have that many stages,
yeah,
that many characters on a tiny 3DS cart.
yeah, and that was the exact reason why they didn't do more tracks, is because they didn't have enough room. Uh, but yeah, I want to say they had the same amount of levels, but they also had different levels. So, for example, I'm trying to think of one. The 3DS had like games centered around the like portable versions of said games, right? Like
Okay.
if there was a Zelda level in there, it was more of the DS one, like the what's it called, the train one. I forget what it's called.
Oh,
Spirit
Spirit
Tracks.
Tracks.
Yeah. So the Spirit Tracks level was on 3DS, but it wasn't on the Wii U version. On the Wii U, you got, I think it was just the Twilight Princess level or something like that. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like Kid Icarus had different levels versus the one that was on Wii U. I'm trying to think of what other ones. There were some similarities. Like you had the Miiverse, I believe, was on both of them because Miiverse was available on 3DS and Wii U. But other than that, like there was unique stages, unique single player, unique multiplayer modes. They had Smash Run, which is kind of cool, where it's basically this giant like scrolling level, similar to Castlevania. What was it called? There's this Castlevania game that's on Xbox 360. I can't remember what it is. It's or the name of it is you're like in a giant stage basically, and everybody can play together. It's
I know what you're
multiplayer.
talking about. I just
Yeah,
remember what it's called either.
Harmony of Despair, I believe it is.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's similar to that where you're just on this big giant stage, and then all four players are teleported to different parts of the stage, and you go through fighting like enemies and stuff like that, and you get these power ups, and then at the end of the time limit, all those power ups add up, and then you guys fight each other, which is kind of cool. So there's unique stuff in there in Smash 3DS. Wii U, their thing was not as cool. It was like this Smash, what was it called? It was almost like a Mario Party Smash game. You run around this board, you collect power ups, and then you'll fight each other. You'll collect other like characters. So you'll find characters on the board, and then they add them to your team. So if you play or fight against somebody, you might have two characters, where that person only has one, so you have an advantage. Some cool stuff that it had, but wasn't as good as Smash Run. But yeah, Brian, did you own the Smash 64 at all?
Yeah, I did, and like I remember it very vividly getting the copy of it. I'm pretty sure that it came out. It's 25, so 1999.
Yeah.
And I remember I would have been in sixth grade, and I remember my mom got it for me, and like we went and like she had like a hair appointment that day or something like that, so she picked me up after school, and then like we went to go get her hair done or whatever, and like I remember like opening up the box while I was waiting for her at the hair salon, and, like going through the instruction manual and just like having all these battles between characters in my head of like how they would how they would play and how they would look and all the things you could do with them and stuff like that. And then, I brought it home and I couldn't believe like how insanely cool it was that like you had all this great music. You had the kid like at the time because Pokemon was like
Yep.
such a big deal back in '99 and like being able to be on top. What was the name of the city that you're in? It's like three skyscrapers. Is it like
Yeah, I don't remember what the name of that stage is called. I want to say Saffron City, but I could be wrong.
it might be Saffron, I don't remember, but
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. And like
yeah,
that door opens, then like the electrode comes out and like blows up
yeah,
or whatever. And it's so funny because like when you look back at that game, it just looks so like primitive. Like it looks so like it looks so simple. Like there's an even better word for it right now that I just
yeah.
can't think of right now. But and then you go to Melee, and I remember buying Melee and just being blown away. Like it stayed in my GameCube all the time. All the trophies, like looking at those trophies you could get,
Mm-hmm.
and looking at all the models and like zooming in all of them, all the characters you could unlock. It
Yeah.
was even more expanded than the N64 version. The Wii one, I don't think I ever had the Wii one, so I don't have any memories of it. The Wii U and 3DS ones, I absolutely did have, and I mean, let's just take a second to like appreciate the fact that that 3DS port is truly incredible. I mean, if you would have shown that to somebody in 1999, like you're gonna be able to play this portably, and it looks like this,
Yep.
like be out of your mind, like how great it looks and how well it played. The only problem with it though is that like you're putting your poor little 3DS's analog stick through the paces playing that game. Like I always felt scared that I was gonna like break it because it gets really intense and that thing
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it's made for that. And then of course Ultimate, and Ultimate is the culmination of everything that came before it. And I truly wonder if like there's obviously gonna be a Switch 2, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point today. Um, what's next? Like how can they even top that? Like Ultimate Smash, like But yeah, those are my memories. It's a very very exceptional game, and looking forward to seeing what happens next.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing, like I said, like if you were to ask me back then, would this game be like a huge franchise? I wouldn't have said no. Like, it's funny because you mentioned like Pokemon, and I remember like one of the main reasons I got it is because I got to play as Pikachu and fight, and I would always do the Pokemon level because I was obsessed with Pokemon at the time. And in Ultimate, they brought back that stage, and I was so
Hmm.
excited because it just brought back so many memories. And all the Pokemon that actually come out of the door, they're all actually animated. I went back and played Smash 64 on my Steam Deck, And I was like, wow, I didn't realize the Pokemon that actually come out, they're not even animated. They're just like I don't know what you would call it.
Stationary,
Just
right?
say it again.
Or like, are there like just sprites standing there?
Yeah, they're just
Yeah,
like
they're in
yeah,
the original. They're like very primitive.
yeah. They don't do much. Like
Yeah.
Charizard would come out and shoot the fire, and it's just like almost like a picture of
They're like
Charizard just sliding
pixels.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting. I was like, oh wow, I never realized that because in the one that's on Smash Ultimate, they're all animated, and I just assume, oh, that's how they always were. But no, that's not how they were. But yeah, there was some cool stuff there. The Star Fox, the music is just in my head, and just everything about that game was just so I don't know, like it's all iconic from the announcer that they added. Even though the announcer got better over time, that was just something that people already knew, and sound effects, the trophies was a huge thing. Like I was very sad with Ultimate not having trophies, because it was kind of cool to see characters that were usually in 2D form in these 3D models, or see characters that you've never seen before in a 3D environment, because it was just interesting. It was different. I really liked that about Melee. Brawl expanded on that even more, which was kind of cool. Melee was unique, where they added the adventure mode, a mode that I completely forgot about. And basically, it's a single player like side scroller, but there's a bunch of other things going on. Because you'll do a stage and it's like Mushroom Kingdom, and you go through and it's a side scrolling stage, but then at the end you have to fight Mario and Peach. And then you go to the next area and it's just a fight of like a bunch of, I forgot what it was. Oh no, in the middle of that stage you fight a bunch of Yoshis, then you fight Mario and Peach. But then the next stage was something else, and then there's a stage that's supposed to be like inside the Temple of Time or something like that. So you're running around, and then like there's a Master Sword stuck inside, and you'll go to it, and then you fight Dark Link, and then you fight that Link, and you continue going. You find another Master Sword, and it's Dark Link. There's just all these cool things that Melee added there, and of course Brawl came out and was even better. You had Subspace Emissary, which was a whole story told in a side-scrolling like level based like gameplay, and I thought that was pretty awesome. And then Wii U and 3DS unfortunately didn't have anything like that. They still had some modes, but like Smash Run was the only one that was like a side scrolling like adventure game. And then Smash Ultimate went even further backwards with the was it the World of Light or whatever that
Spirit Board. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, Spirit World.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man. So, you were saying like what could Smash do beyond Ultimate? I always
bring
say
it
the
back.
phrase. Yeah, I say the phrase that Smash Ultimate is not Ultimate. And I am working on a video about that too, kind of discussing everything that I just mentioned there, because there's a lot of unique things that other Smash games have done that Ultimate did not do, and part of it I get it, right? But other parts is like, I wish these parts were there, right? I don't mind it if you have to get rid of spirits to have trophies in, or if you needed to take longer to add trophies, I would prefer that. It doesn't have to be all the characters either. Like having all the characters are cool, but I would rather it be less characters, but more like content, if that makes sense. So here's two more Smash Brothers, and hopefully, Smash Bros. What would it be? Smash Bros. 6, right? Is very unique when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. Hopefully, it's a launch game too, so we don't have to wait that much.
That'd be interesting if it was. I
hmm
still think it'll be a Metroid Prime 4. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with that. And bring Smash 64 to Nintendo 64 Online.
Oh
I
yeah, that'd be
honestly thought
awesome.
that was going to be on there, and it's not there yet. Yes, my thumbnail
Break the
shows it.
target.
Yeah, the
You know, it'd be
thumbnail that I made
crazy.
shows
The,
it, but it's not on
the
there yet.
the next Smash would be like you can play in different modes. If you want to play like 64 mode,
That'd be
it
cool.
can mimic like you're playing like on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
Super Smash Brothers maker.
Yeah,
yeah, could do
yeah. If you
that.
can make levels, yeah, that'd be cool.
Honestly, Smash
You can
Bros.
already do that.
would be. I think it's the perfect game to be a live service, right? Let's say you can't do the whole game at once, create a base game, right, with maybe like the Melee or the Brawl cast, and then you go build beyond that as DLC. People would easily buy that as long as the game has a lot of like filling, right? It feels like it's finished. I don't mind it being a service and them adding characters over time. Like I would prefer something like that versus here's all the characters, but you only have like one single player mode and that's it. Like no, like
I mean, they
give
kind
us.
of did that, but not really with the season booster
They did. I
pass.
mean, they added that, but it's just like the World of Light or whatever that place is. It's not. I don't know. It's not that bad, but it's not that cool. Like, it was cool to fight spirits, and they use existing characters to make it feel like you're fighting that spirit. But I would prefer something like I said, like adventure mode from Melee or Brawl's Subspace Emissary,
Yeah,
which I
and it
know.
did take a really long time to unlock all the characters.
Yeah, it did. In both of them, yeah. Well, at least in Brawl, because I want to say in Ultimate were all the characters unlocked by default, or no? You had to unlock them all,
No,
right?
you had to
You had to
unlock
unlock them, but it was
You had to
easier.
unlock them.
Yeah. Well, I remember they patched it because they did patch it because I remember.
Originally, it was too easy. There was
No, it
a
was too hard.
glitch. No, there was a glitch that
Mm.
actually made it like you could. All you have to do is do something for like 100 hours or something. I couldn't remember what it was. Like there was a thing in the a glitch in the game
Yeah.
where if you saved, closed the game, restarted it again, it kept your time or something like that, and it let you unlock characters quicker.
In Ultimate? Oh, really?
Yeah, in
Oh, I
Ultimate.
did not know
Yeah,
that. Because I remember.
yeah. There was like a weird bug in
Yeah.
the game.
Because I remember when it first came out, I remember like, because I had made a Discord channel at that time just for Smash, so I could play with a bunch of people, and we were all frustrated because we were getting beat by the NPC. Like, you would go to fight to unlock them, and they would just destroy you. And we're like, why is it so difficult to fight these guys? And at first I thought it was me being rusty, but a bunch of people who I knew were better than me were having the same issues. And then I remember they patched that later on to make the NPCs easier, which I actually was sad about that because then I was like, great, now I got to get all these guys
They
while
could have
they're
just
easier.
scaled it, not make it easier. They could have just like made the ramp up with how
Yeah.
difficult it got a little bit, not like this. Probably
Yeah.
just like a gradual incline.
Yeah, that's true. They could have done something like that. But yeah, that's Smash Bros. We'll be looking out for that for the future of Smash. So let's go ahead and talk about our big topic, and that is Nintendo's Switch 2 or new Nintendo Switch, however you want to call it. News. There's some news about that, and these were
I,
from two
I
different
refuse to
sources.
call it Nintendo Switch 2.
No, what do you want to call it? New Nintendo Switch.
I want to call it the Super Switch. I want to call it the Super Switch.
Super Switch would be cool, but I feel like they won't.
Yeah.
They won't do that.
Yeah, they can just call it the Super Nintendo Switch. So that it'd be.
It'll be
SNES.
the new Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see
And
that
if they
happening.
did call it the Nintendo Switch 2, I can see them not doing a number and doing TOO.
Switch 2, I
Just
guess,
like they said Wii, because
Yeah.
that's the whole point was the Wii was like we as in we play
Switch.
together.
Yeah,
The Switch U.
the Switch U. And no, I don't think they're ever gonna use you ever again. But Central Leaks. So Central Leaks is known for leaking. Basically, they leaked like the Switch OLED specs. They were the one that were kind of right on the money that about there was an OLED Switch, about it being a bigger screen, the new kickstand and stuff like that. So here, according to them, and this is directly from their tweet, this says some more Switch 2 news via the Korean. I'm assuming that's pronounced Mail business newspaper. Samsung appears to be the big winner on a number of components for the system. The NVIDIA Tegra 2 T239 SoC will be manufactured by Samsung using their 7LPH process. Samsung 5th generation V NAND will be used for both internal storage and game cards. Samsung also will provide the displays, but no specific type of technology, meaning they're not sure if it's LCD or OLED, has been mentioned. And then there was something else here. It says there's a correction. The article does mention Samsung. Oh no, never mind. That was it. So yeah.
Did you see the thing where like they said something like they could touch it but they couldn't see it?
I did see that, and that's for the next leak that's
Okay.
here. So here's the next one that came out. This is from Stealth. He said Mobile Pad. So Mobile Pad, makes like controllers for the Nintendo Switch. They say Mobile Pad, a Switch accessory manufacturer, has posted that they think they know about the Switch 2. They're saying backwards compatible with Joy-Con's Pro controller, backwards compatible with Switch cartridges, new Joy-Cons magnetically attached to Switch 2. The dock supports 4K output. New kickstand has a damping bracket on the back for improved angle adjustment. Screen is larger than the original Switch, and it's 1080p. So yeah, like those are some interesting things. One of them was that they were giving out to accessories manufacturer, which Mobile Pad is one of them, and they were able to somehow like kind of see a mold, but it was a weird mold. for how the controller should fit in, and that's how they were able to find out, like they were able to see like how it is if it's magnetic. And so far a lot of people are confirming that it's magnetic, similar to the Legion Go, because the Legion Go controllers are magnetic, and it's a tough magnet that keeps it locked in place. The cool thing was though that saying that Joy Cons are also backwards compatible. You could use existing Joy Cons with it, as well as the Pro controller. I don't know if they mean that the existing Joy Cons can slip on, or if it's like through
Like Bluetooth.
Bluetooth.
I would assume
Yeah,
it's through wireless connection. Like the whole, if it's using magnets,
yeah,
it'd be weird to implement two different type of connection styles with rails and pins plus the
that's
magnets
true.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think it just get too complicated doing it that way. Um, like I think they might be able to make it to where you can use like the Joy-Con with the little controller adapter,
yeah,
and use it wirelessly like that,
yeah,
which would make sense.
yeah. No, I can see that. Be a shame though, because then I won't be able to use these guys. Like, I got the Zelda. I was blurring it out. The Zelda Joy Cons, and I really like them. And that was one of the things that worries me is like with a new Switch, right? Would I be able to use these? And it's
So I
looking more and
wonder
more. It won't.
if they would make an adapter those rails would slip on
Yeah,
that has the pins for the magnets,
probably. I could see somebody doing that, whether it's done officially or through like what do you call
like a
it, like
third
3D
party.
printing or something like that.
Yeah, or even
Yeah.
just from a third party.
Hmm.
Like I'm sure they'll figure it out somehow.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was a funny
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
there's a funny meme I saw on Twitter when they were talking about how the journalists or whatever couldn't see it, but they could touch it, and then showed like that scene from Dune where Paul sticks his hand in that box from
Oh yeah.
the that older movie. It's just like
Yeah.
you could just imagine Nintendo like with like a veil on, like they have like this box, and you like put your hand in there, but you can't see it. I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I'd assume it's a box with two holes on each side, and you go like
Yeah.
this, and
Yeah.
like just like feel it around.
Yeah, Nintendo's very secretive when it comes to their stuff, and it's a good thing, right? They don't want stuff to leak out early. They want to keep the hype in place, and that's what gets you really hype. Versus if it's leaked ahead of time, then it comes out, you're kind of like, like I already knew about this, and and that's one thing I do get about Nintendo when their games leak. They get pretty upset about all of that. It's because it kind of dies down the hype, and hype is a big factor in terms of making money and consumers being excited to try out this product. So I can see that. Honestly, I'm excited. This I feel like all of this is mentioned here is pretty concrete. It's also going ahead and backing up a lot of other sources. One of them saying that the screen's gonna be 1080p. I would prefer it to be 720p still, but if it's
Just to
1080p,
save the
then
battery life.
yeah, I mean save battery life. Well, it's an ARM chip too, so I assume you'll probably still get pretty decent battery life there. But
Yeah, but I mean, they're ARM chips now,
yeah,
right? So I mean, if you jump up from 720 to 1080 on a
yeah,
7-8 inch screen, you still have to use all that extra GPU power to like display all those
yeah,
pixels.
that's true. Yeah, yeah,
Like
because
that's my only concern.
no, I agree with that. I mean, it's like when you play on the Steam Deck, it being 800p is not really a big factor, right? You can play at a lower resolution, but have higher graphics fidelity, which is what I prefer. When I had the ROG Ally, I was playing everything at 720p, but making sure that all graphical assets were at medium to high, because it would, yes, it would be a lower resolution, but I can have higher textures, more foliage and stuff like that, which makes the game look better overall. Brian, I saw you shaking your head. You like that it's 1080p?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a 720p screen, just like the Switch, I mean, I don't know. Nintendo's just not really about the graphical fidelity. I mean, I think it's going to be better, like more powerful, obviously, but like if you're just going to make it a little more better with the same 720 screen, like I don't know. I think they got to at least increase the resolution a little bit. And then there's like another rumor saying that, and I really doubt this, but maybe it's true that the dock is going to output 4K. Like I
Yeah.
really doubt it, but maybe. I'm very
They
excited that it's going to be 1080p. What'd you say?
they've already proved that it does.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the Switch OLED. The Switch OLED dock can actually do 4K 30.
Interesting. Okay, well, maybe. Well, I don't know if they're actually going to take advantage of that much fidelity at
Yeah,
the end of the day, but it's nice
yeah.
to know that it's there. But yeah, I definitely want it to be 1080. I think that'll make a big difference. Given the fact that there's so many just absolute bangers on the Nintendo Switch that are classics that you'd think that Nintendo could go back and maybe patch up a few games to make them look really nice in 1080p, and then it would have kind of like an enhanced version. I hope they don't go the route of like re-releasing the game at a full $70 or $60, like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom Plus or some crap like that. Like that would be a real bummer instead of just releasing like a free patch or whatever. But yeah, I'm very glad to hear the initial reports are saying that it's going to be backwards compatible, even with the cartridges for Switch, and obviously like digital purchases for Switch. Because if it wasn't, this might have been my last Nintendo system for anything but first party stuff. Like I just would have bought a Switch 2 and just gotten like the Zeldas, the Metroids, but like I wouldn't buy anything third party on it ever again because it would just all be stranded every console cycle. It's like I'm not messing with that again. So I really hope it gets announced soon. Maybe we'll see it early next year. I doubt it'll be this year, but maybe like spring or something next year. But it's a healthy system right now. I mean, it's sold so many units, so we'll look forward to it.
It's funny that you mentioned like the backwards compatibility and stuff like that. This is, the Nintendo Switch is the first time that it wasn't backwards compatible with its previous console, right? GameCube with Wii was backwards compatible, Wii to Wii U was backwards compatible, but then of course they went to a different form factor, which makes sense, right? You got GBA to DS was backwards compatible, um, but then the DS Lite came, and then, or not DS Lite, DSi took out the slot, and then you have 3DS and DS, which was backwards compatible there. So they've always done backwards compatible outside of like N64. You're muted.
Oh, I said, yeah, they were always backwards compatible except for SNES and N64 to
Yeah,
NES, and
NES.
those are
Yeah,
the initial three. Yeah,
No, because that was
yeah,
a huge like technological leap, so it's kind of hard for them to, I think,
yeah. I'm
right.
sure that was a
do
different
that.
way. Yeah, but they've been more backwards compatible than most, and then it's like people have short-term memories, and then like this console generation comes in like, oh, Nintendo never does backwards compatible. It's like, huh? So what do you mean? They've done it the longest, and then the first time they decided not to in a very long time, everybody's in a uproar. But not saying that that shouldn't matter. Like I will
I
like them,
think
but
it's
it's also,
because,
mm-hmm,
well, I think it's because they re-released the game on
yeah,
that same console where it's backwards compatible.
yeah. Well, there's that, and probably like, I mean, there's no disc slot on the
Yeah,
Switch unless you would have gotten like a Blu-ray external Blu-ray drive or something to plug in and play it that way. But it's also different
Switch
architecture.
PSP.
Yeah, right. It's also different architecture too. So it's like you have an ARM chip versus an x86 base, which was or was it Power PC? I don't remember which one. No, I think it was x86 base for the Wii U. So like they're two different things. You would have to create an emulator for the Switch to play the Wii U games, and that's the only
yeah,
other
that
ways.
or rebuild the whole thing to where it has both processors on it, because that's what they did with
With a lot of the
the
older
Wii.
ones, yeah,
With the Wii, like it had a GameCube processor and a Wii processor on the motherboard.
yeah. So, and I doubt they would have done that because then the Switch would have been huge at that point.
That and
Uh,
like just the manufacturing cost would have been crazy.
Exactly. But it is nice to see that it's going to be backwards compatible. And I've always kind of figured they were going to do the backwards compatible thing. And they're sticking with cartridges. And I mean, cartridges honestly is pretty safe because, flash memory is pretty cheap. It's easy to access for the most part. So it's nice to see that they're sticking to that. Like I don't think they need Blu-ray discs or anything like that, which is cool. You don't gotta worry about these. Well, I would say you don't have to worry about them scratching up, but they do scratch up in the cartridges sometimes. At least on my Switch, sometimes I get a notification that it cannot read cartridge, and I have to like insert it or take it out, put it back in, and so forth. But yeah, the other thing to point out too is about power, right? Twice in their console generation, they were the strongest, and both times they were not the most what's it called? The most
Popular
popular. Yeah, there we go.
or
Nintendo
in demand.
64 being the first one, right? It was the strongest console. Second one being GameCube, right? GameCube was the strongest console. A lot of people argue Xbox, but when you see like graphical comparison, like the GameCube had a lot of power behind it. Best way I always tell people to look at Resident Evil 4 for GameCube versus Resident Evil 4 for PS2. It was a huge downgrade in the graphics. Puddles were non-existent. There's parts where there's puddles in the GameCube version. In the PS2, they're just non-existent. some of the rain effects.
Also,
came out there.
PS2 was really hard to program for too. I think, if I remember correctly. Like that's
No, I think it was
another
only
reason,
PS3.
probably.
I think it was only PS3.
I thought PS2 was with like the emotion. Wasn't the emotion engine PS2?
Maybe, I don't know. Let's find out.
I don't know. I thought it was considered more difficult to program for than GameCube or Xbox because Xbox was just a PC basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I think
Could be
I
wrong.
think you're right on that. I think you're right on that. I think
Oh,
it
wait,
just
no.
got worse with the PS3.
It got worse with the PS3, absolutely, but PS2 definitely wasn't great to
Yeah,
program
no,
for.
the
I
problem
guess.
PS2,
was-
you're right. It was PS2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the PS2 just had a bigger third-party library. Like they had more
Because it was so popular.
Yeah, they had more outside like third-party involvement with.
Because that DVD player, man, everybody wanted that.
Yep,
that's
that
true.
too.
That was what it was sold
That's
on.
the
I
main
remember
selling
when-
point.
Yeah.
That's the
Both
main
times
selling
they tried to
point.
sell it, and they tried to recreate that with a cheap Blu-ray player for the PS3, and everybody was like, "Nope."
To be honest, I think the GameCube would have done better if they would have made that Panasonic Q the GameCube.
With a DVD player in it.
I agree with that. I mean, honestly, the disc that they decided to use also hurt them pretty bad.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like if they would have done with the Panasonic Q, which used the DVD player,
Yeah.
then it would have conformed to the full-size DVD,
Yeah.
right? Like it would have conformed to what PS2 was doing.
No,
And
I
they
agree.
probably would have been a lot like probably neck and neck in terms of popularity at that point in
Yeah.
time because I'm pretty sure the pricing was pretty close to the same.
Yeah, I think they were
at
both
launch.
$199. I want to say.
I think I thought they were $299 at launch.
Let's see. Trying to
Maybe
look that
199.
up.
I mean, they were
I think
definitely
GameCube
a
was
lot cheaper than
$250.
they were definitely a lot cheaper than a regular DVD player at the time.
GameCube was $199 at launch.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So
PS2
remember-
was $299.
okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Okay, but it was even for $299, it's still cheaper than a DVD player, like
Yeah.
in
At
that era.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, because DVD players are like $400 or $500 at the time.
Yeah. I remember people buying the PS2 just for the DVD player. They didn't care about the games. They just got it for the DVD player. But yeah,
It didn't hurt
twice.
Sony since they made their own DVD players.
What was that?
I said, and it didn't hurt Sony since they made their own DVD players.
Yeah.
Like, it's just another thing they add to their assembly line. It wasn't really having to partner up with the manufacturing company.
They didn't have to license it.
Yeah, exactly. It was just their
Yeah.
own stuff.
Well, I thought DVDs were made by Panasonic.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Blu-rays, they didn't have to
Blu-ray
license.
is
Yeah,
Sony.
Blu-rays,
Yeah, Blu-ray was Sony, so they had the license to it.
But if they're already making DVD players, then how much more, like,
yeah,
like, because you could buy Sony DVD players at the time.
yeah,
How hard it would have been then to like, oh, we're just gonna add it to the PS2.
Exactly. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where the Switch 2 goes because
Is there a specific feature like you guys like would want that hasn't already been announced
music
or rumored?
and themes. I would like music and themes to be back. It's just like navigating on the 3DS, just taking a look at it and just hearing the music and just being able to like theme it up with different themes. I think that's pretty cool. And it's just something that's lost. Like the Switch feels like bland in terms of like design for like the UI. And I would like something like that. I don't feel like everything has to be boring or anything like that. So it would be cool if they had it. I mean, if they don't, they don't. I can understand why, but if they do, hey, I mean, and they can make extra money easy. People will pay $2-3 for themes that change like your icons and folders and stuff like that. Were you gonna say something, fan?
No, I was gonna like the Switch Online. Don't when you like go on the Switch Online, if you like go over the games, does it pop up like information on the game? I haven't opened Switch Online in a long time. I haven't opened up Switch in a long time.
Is it like the
I
Nintendo
feel like
eShop?
no. Switch Online.
Oh,
Nintendo Switch
okay,
Online.
yeah,
The
I know what you're
virtual,
talking about.
like yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say like there's a button you can press. They'll show you just a box art and some information, but like when you hover over it, it doesn't do anything.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
that's something they should do because you know how like EmuDeck,
Mhm.
you can set it up to where when you go over a game, it shows box art and it can like play some of like the game video.
Yeah,
Like
no, that would be
that's
cool. I do like that because I was looking at what's the one that was recommended on Android? TheGeakShow. and I like the aesthetics of that. And I set that up on my Pixel, playing around with it, and I was like, man, I do like that interface. And there's a lot of like neat interfaces like that. Like you said, Emu Deck or not Emu Deck, Emulation Station has one. Pegasus has another one. The Pegasus one actually looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if you played with that. That just got introduced through Emu Deck. But like, yeah, there's a lot of cool like interface like design choices that would be nice. I don't think they would do that, maybe because it probably takes too much storage, so they want to minimize the amount of storage there. But maybe having the option would be nice. Like give you the option
Uh,
to get those videos and stuff like that.
yeah, I wonder if that's what's limiting the current Switch now. It's just like RAM and processing power,
Yeah,
right? Like they have to keep a very small, low OS that
yeah,
doesn't take up much at all to do anything.
that's
Which
true.
where hopefully this new one they have more leeway because what rumor is it's gonna be double the RAM, right? 8 gigs of
Yeah,
RAM instead of 4.
yeah. Does it switch out 4? I thought it had 6.
I'm maybe the OLED has 6. I'm pretty sure the
No,
regular Switch
they
has
would both have the same
4.
for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Because I
sure
think
it's
the only
4.
difference was I might be mixing it up with the Steam Deck OLED, but I thought the die shrunk a little bit on the Switch, or maybe it's a different chip overall.
Yeah, it's 4 gigs of RAM.
4 gigs, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so having 8, yeah, would
yeah.
help out a lot for sure.
So that's not a lot of RAM.
Yeah, or even 12.
At all.
Yeah. What about you, Brian?
Oh, it would be nice. I think that would increase the cost quite a bit.
what the extra RAM?
Going to 12 would
12.
be
Think
more
so?
costly than going from 4 to 8.
Yeah, but not by much. You would think. I would assume like I don't. I wouldn't think it would increase it by that much. But yeah, Nintendo's also they're in the hardware market. They always make money off their hardware.
Yeah,
So
they're
yeah,
always in the green.
exactly. So they're definitely, yeah. I can see them trying to squeeze by and become a master of optimization and let people know, hey, you gotta optimize your game on the Switch for it to run. And I feel like that's gonna be the issue with the Switch too, right? Is that developers nowadays they brute force their way through, right? You have a big rig, you have this giant, these awesome specs. They can brute force their way, but then when you're working with limited hardware, you can no longer brute force your way. So you really have to take care and design the game to perfection. And I see like this generation, I think more than ever, a lot of that is going on. Um, but I mean, we'll have to see with that. Bryant, what's the feature that you would like to see?
No, it's probably not going to happen, but the keeping the OLED screen. Um,
Not at
all I
launch.
really no, they're going to charge you 3 years from now to get one. It's probably all I really cared about was backwards compatibility, and I guess the thing that really I want more than anything is that it's a little more ergonomic in portable mode, and the joysticks don't suck because the Joy-Con joysticks are pretty awful.
Yeah.
That's another thing. If
What's
they're
that?
going to be magnetic rails on the Joy Cons, how is it going to make having Hall effect joysticks more difficult? Because
wouldn't
having
think
more
so.
that's why they don't have a lot of Hall effect like triggers with Hall effect joysticks near each other because sometimes the magnets can interfere.
Mhm.
That's
So I
what's
wonder.
taken them 7 years to figure out, fan.
Yeah.
I mean, this has Hall effect triggers and thumbstick.
Yeah, but look how much bigger it is.
True. Well, the Lenovo Legion Go, I don't know if it has triggers, but I know it has Hall effect thumbsticks, and it also
Yeah.
has the magnetic rails for
Yeah.
the controller. So I think it's doable. I don't
It's,
see.
those joysticks they're also giant. Those things are
Yeah.
hunk. Like you can add more space to it, but if they're trying to keep a thin profile, those magnets gonna be really close to each other. So that's what I'm just like
Yeah.
wondering.
I wonder how thin they'll keep it, because like more consoles that come out, including like emulation devices like the iNode and 2,
That's true.
they're a little bit thicker than
I'm
a
okay with
Switch
that.
Lite. Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I think it being thicker, if anything, is a benefit because it's easier to hold. So I
Like the
would
Wii
hope
U, for all its faults, incredibly ergonomic.
it is. Yeah, and it's very lightweight too.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing that surprised me with using the gamepad, was like how light it was, because I always thought it was gonna be
It's
super
still kind of
heavy.
Fisher Price feeling, but
Yeah,
whatever.
cheap plastic.
Yeah.
So would you
Glossy.
say like size of a ROG Ally MSI Claw in terms of like ergonomic sizes?
Um,
Because
That'd be
I mean
nice, but I bet it'll be smaller than that.
yeah, it's gonna be smaller. I'm pretty sure it'll be smaller than
Thinner.
that. I think it's
yeah
gonna be like the Ein Odin size, honestly. It's got to be maybe a tad bit bigger because it's gonna have a bigger screen. I think the Ein Odin screen is 6 inch, where isn't the Switch currently 7 inches, right?
yeah the
I think
Switch OLED
so.
is 7 inches. Yeah.
Yeah, so if it's supposed to be bigger, a bigger display than the OLED, then I can see it being like a little bit bigger than the Ein Odin 2. But as far as thickness goes, I can see it looking exactly, not exactly, but very similar to that. Yeah, I don't know anything else that can combat that look. Because to me, I think that's, of course, I haven't felt an Ein Odin yet, but when you just like, search it up and look at an Ein Odin 2, that to me looks very ergonomic. Like I really like the way that looks, and it's probably the best way to go in my opinion. But we'll see because like the bumps, I'm not. If you go to the website, and you can look how it is. It has like slanted, so it feels like you can hold it really good. The middle of the switch doesn't have to be right? Like super thick. It can be still thin, and you can have still all the vents and stuff like that, and the kickstand and all that other good stuff. But it's really like where you hold it. It's the most important part. Like holding the Joy Cons, it's just they're very like I have small hands too. If
They're
anybody
very
has
chintzy.
way bigger hands, yeah, it's hard. Using my Switch, like I usually have to hold it like this, but I just get so tired because yeah, my hands are just like they start cramping, they start becoming like this, like like a crab or something like that. So that's one thing they would have to fix, and I hope they fixed.
Hopefully with the size 8-inch screen, it's gonna make the Joy-Con a little longer and then probably a little wider.
Yeah,
So that would help with the ergonomics stuff because they are dinky.
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, they are small and dinky. So it does make it difficult to like yeah, my hands get. I have small hands too, and it does get crampy
yeah,
at times.
yeah. I like to say I have baby hands. So that's why this controller, the DualSense, why everybody loves it. To me, it's just a little bit too like thick for me. Now this controller here, this is the controller. Poor Stadia, rest in peace. Controller was nice though. I like it. That's why I keep it around. It's actually really good. Felt good. You had Stadia, right? Didn't you?
Me or
Uh,
fan?
Yeah, you, Ryan.
I
No,
I
I
did
didn't.
Oh,
I
you
did, but
did.
I didn't get the controller.
Oh, yeah. I got this actually as a gift. I got this in like 3 months free of Stadia, and yeah, the controller's still cool. Like I still use it connected to my PC because I did the little update so that I unlocked it, and it works good. Like pretty solid. But yeah, Switch Pro controller also being compatible with the Switch 2 is nice, which I would assume means that I can use this or my 8-bit Do controller as well. This being for audio listeners, the Goalie Kit KK3 Max controller, which is good. Again, backwards compatible and accessories is great. Something Nintendo has done consistently versus other people, not always doing. GameCube, you were able to use your GameCube controllers on the Wii. A lot of the games supported the GameCube controller, and when I mean a lot of games, a lot of Wii games supported GameCube
You can still
controllers.
use the game controllers now.
Yeah, exactly. You can use it on the Switch. Some games supported there. And then of course from Wii to Wii U, you were able to use the Wii modes or the Wii Pro controller, I think it was just called, whatever it was called, on the Wii U. It's just when the Switch came around, totally different stuff, so you couldn't use that. So it's nice to see the accessories are also becoming backwards compatible, which is nice. Unlike PlayStation, where the DualShock 4 will not work on DualShock or on PS5 games, which I feel like it's kind of dumb. Like allow you to use those, and yeah, you'll lose on the haptic feedback and all that other stuff, but at least you have a controller to play the game. Because I feel that people are going to buy a DualShock or the DualSense if they want a DualSense. Easy as that. But I guess to force others to have to do that, that also makes sense too. So last question before we end this. Do you feel that Nintendo has more to prove today than in 2017 when the Switch came out?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, because the Switch is what?
No, I was like, so you think that they can announce the Switch 2 and they're just gonna sail to success without any major effort?
Yeah, I mean, well, more to prove insinuates that like because like when Switch came out, they just got done with their bomb console Wii U, and so they had a lot to prove that they still had it. I mean, but the Switch was incredibly successful. It continues to sell. It's incredibly successful. Tons of
Mm-hmm.
great games, unrivaled third-party support probably since like the Super Nintendo. Like that's non-portable anyway.
Yeah.
um the Switch is a home run, and so like I would say the expectations are higher now than they were when in 2017, but they have less to prove because they already proved it with the Switch. But because they did so well, they have high expectations. It's kind of like what happened to Sony when like they launched with PlayStation 2 and it was incredibly successful. Sold gajillions of units, and then like all the expectations in the world were on PS3, and then that didn't come out of the gate too well because it's expensive and all that kind of stuff. Eventually found its way, but that's kind of like the similar situation that Nintendo's in now. Same thing with Xbox when 360 came out, crazy successful, but then like when one came out, they kind of had high expectations and it kind of fumbled a little bit because of their focus on like the Kinect and the TV bit and all that kind of stuff and like the entertainment center and all that. And yeah, I think they've proven themselves. Now it's just about keeping the expectations afloat.
Yeah, just do what they're doing well and just build on it, right? They don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Gotcha.
Like they can continue doing the whole idea of the Switch, which is a console you can take with you or play at home. They just got to improve that experience even more.
So for me, I do feel that they have more to prove than in 2017. And here's why. Because the portable gaming landscape, right, has evolved, and this hybrid landscape in general has evolved, right? You have now portable PCs, and the reference that everybody will always look at now is if the Switch 2 cannot, let's say, be on par with an ROG Ally or better, I think that's where the issue is going to lie. Because then people will say, well, I'll just get a Steam Deck 2 or an ROG Ally. Because now there's more choices, more than ever, to get that hybrid experience. Because a Steam Deck, you can plug into a Steam Deck dock, you're good to go. ROG Ally, you you can buy the what's it called, the I can't think of the name right now, XG Mobile, if you want. But I mean, you can plug it into a normal dock as well, and you're good to go. Little Nova Legion
Yeah,
Go, same
but
thing. Mm-hmm.
to use your argument against you, you return your RG Ally because the battery life sucked,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
That's true.
See,
Yeah.
so like in the Switch out the gate was 3 hours
Yeah.
almost.
Correct.
So, I mean, they already have an edge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, the only handheld I think
Yeah.
that's going to give Nintendo a run for money is the Steam Deck. That's really
Yeah.
the only handheld that's
Well,
going
I'm
to give a run
talking
for
like
money.
for the
Like,
future, right? Because we're
yeah,
all
I mean,
expecting it.
even in the future, because like
Yeah.
right now, like we don't even like right now, the Steam Deck is the end all be all other handheld
Yeah.
to get at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ally's great. I still love my Ally. I still play it. But yes,
Yeah.
battery life is atrocious compared to the Steam Deck. Atrocious compared to the Switch. So
Yeah.
I don't play in handheld mode as much as often. I always try and stay near an outlet if I can.
Yeah. So you're,
All
you're
right.
saying if a Steam Deck or if a Switch 2 came out, right, or new Switch or whatever Super Switch came out, and it had, let's say, worse performance than a Steam Deck, you would still be happy with it?
No, but that's they're using what their technologies. The current processor isn't that much older than current processors now, right? It's a couple years. It's what
You talking
Zen
about
2.
Switch?
No, I'm talking about Steam.
Steam? Okay.
If you compare Switch like the ARM processor
Yeah.
when it came out versus when current gen processors came out, they were using way older
Yeah.
processor. That Tegra X1
Okay.
was way old,
Yeah.
and they're still making it last today.
Yeah.
So obviously, the new Switch is going to have at least something on par, if not better, than the Steam Deck. It can't be worse. than it currently is. That would make zero sense. That would, I mean, even if they use a slightly older Tegra chip, it still should run the same, if not better.
Yeah.
Than a Steam Deck. It shouldn't be worse performing.
Yeah, I was saying, don't forget, because when it came from GameCube to Wii, graphically speaking, there was not a jump at all. It was like a minor jump.
I know, but that's because that's because they switch like the mindset of what they wanted to do in terms of video games.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
They went
HD.
Yeah, and they also wanted to go, hey, we're not gonna focus on the graphical fidelity of the games. We're gonna focus on the entertainment aspect of the game.
Yeah.
You know.
So one thing I will give you, James, in regards to your argument though, is the Switch is way less of a novelty now than it was in 2017. When that came out in 2017, that was whoa, like this isn't a Vita. This is a straight up like portable Nintendo system that could be in handheld or it could be on the TV. Like it was a big deal. It was a novelty. So I agree with you there that they do have a lot to prove. They still can like make a device that's competitive. I don't really care about the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. I think that those devices serve different audiences than what the Switch does. There is some crossover, like me, you, and Fan, but like I would say overall, like people buying like a Switch aren't going to go out and get a Steam Deck in general. So I kind of agree with what you're saying there, but I don't know. I just think that what'd you say?
I said, unless you're me, that you're just grabbing everything.
Right,
or me, you know.
Yeah, I mean that.
For the everyday person,
Yeah, I agree with that part. Yeah, I guess I look at it in my sense because I'm like, I'm already building this library on my Steam Deck, and for the Switch, I would love to have my Switch because I'm the type of person that I do want to focus on one device. I don't want to have to like, oh, I have to get this game over here and get this game over here or get this game over here, right? I would like everything to be there. If my Switch becomes my go-to, let me just get every current game on there, except for exclusives, right? When it comes to exclusives, I don't care. But if it's a multi-platform, I kind of prefer everything to be just on one console, not have to. Well, this runs better on PS5, so let me get it on PS5. There's a lot of times that if a game runs worse on a certain device, I'll still get it on that device because I just wanted to be on that device. But Octopath Traveler 2 is a perfect example because I didn't have the Steam Deck OLED at the time. I was like, I'll just get on the Switch. But anyways, that's like kind of my train of thought. Is like if it isn't as good or better than the Steam Deck, which I hope it would be a lot better than the Steam Deck, then it just becomes an exclusive machine for me, and I don't want that. I don't want it to be my PS5. I know Brian, you use your PS5 way more than me, but my PS5 doesn't, like I said, I don't have games. I barely touch it. It just sits there. I have 4 DualSense controllers that just collect dust. I'm selling one of them because I'm like, I don't need it. Like, I don't use my PS5 like I thought I was going to. And my Xbox Series X is actually worse. I only have 1 game on there. That's a Series X game, not including my 360 games. So, yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see how the new Switch does. And I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what they're going to cook up. I honestly think that we won't hear about it or see any official like unveiling until November. I think they're going to try to replicate the Switch launch where, if my memory serves me correct, in November, they played that trailer where, you see them playing and then like the girl goes to like the party, the roof top party and stuff like that. I want to say that was in November, and at the end of that trailer, they said like more information coming soon or something like that. And then in January, they did that presentation and explained everything about the Switch. I do foresee them doing something similar to that because that will build hype. And if you don't remember, that Switch trailer just randomly dropped. Like it wasn't. They didn't announce that trailer. They didn't do anything. It just popped up on YouTube one day, and everybody was just going crazy.
Yeah, you're talking about the one like with like the guy that's like at nighttime, and then it shows him like on the plane, and like it was in like a Splatoon tournament, and then like the girl brought it to like maybe that was it.
I think maybe that was it. Yeah,
I was at training when that happened because I was during a break and I saw it.
And like the girl brought it to like the rooftop party, I think, and there was like memes about her.
Yeah, exactly.
Great! Karen brought her Switch again to the party, guys.
Hey man, people did that with the Wii when it came out.
Yeah.
We would bring Wii's over just to play.
But I think they're gonna do that because I'll never forget that day. I was at home and I don't know, I was doing something. Maybe I was doing schoolwork because I was in doing game development at the time.
Like
And
October, November 2016,
yeah,
right?
it was
Probably.
November 2016. Yeah, and yeah, because I was still in school there, so I was doing schoolwork, and then I out of nowhere I just got a notification on my phone, and when I looked at my phone, it was a video from Nintendo. I was like, what is this? So I tapped on it. I was like, wait, this is a new console? And I remember rewatching the trailer over and over and over again. I was like, this is the coolest thing. And I remember looking up at like on IGN, and everybody was just surprised that this random trailer came out because nobody was expecting this. Now everybody's expecting a new Switch, but I feel like they'll try to do something similar. They're just gonna randomly drop a trailer, not announce it. Nintendo does that already with games. They'll just drop trailers randomly, and then you wake up one morning and there's a trailer to, a new Fire Emblem game or something random like that. So I
Every
do see
morning I
them
wake
doing that.
up and I get Wario 64 notifications on Twitter. Like when I wake up, I always
Yeah,
check on. I'm just like waiting for that magical Christmas morning where like Switch 2 trailer
yeah.
click here.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see it till the end of the year. So, um, setting my expectations. But Nintendo also has to figure out what they're gonna do for the rest of this year because after June they don't got anything coming out. So this is gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do for the second half. I mean, again, best time to bring out Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess to the Switch. Then every single Zelda game will be available on said console, except for I guess Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass. Those are the only ones that unfortunately won't be able to work on there.
Switch 2 DS emulation confirmed.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so it's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking like, what would be awesome is they do DS, but they create like a separate like accessory that you have to rotate the console into
Oh,
like a what do you call it, like a portrait mode,
portrait mode.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and then have like the Joy-Con swap because I know there's something like that for certain games, but that would be perfect because a DS is literally they're both square, so having them on top of each other would just make sense. It will fill up that whole display,
Yeah,
and then
they do
if you
that for that one of the Switch with a bunch of board games on it, where you turn it in portrait and you have
yeah.
player one, player two on each side.
There's
Um,
another game. There's like a shmup that has that too, and somebody made something for it. But
Yeah,
like
the flip grip.
that's what it's called, flip grip.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Like you can do DS on there if you can make a
Put in
bracket
Tate
and
mode.
yeah. Like I would.
I actually thought you were gonna go with the Switch Attach because that was the rumored name. It was like you can
Attach.
attach
No.
attach a second screen to it.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool too. Connect your old Switch as a second screen. No, actually that'd be stupid. I would want to get another accessory. But like I think that would be a cool way to have like DS emulation on there, or 3DS would be a little bit tougher because then it would make this because the top screen is 16 by 9 and the bottom screen is square, so like it wouldn't fit perfectly unless you do like a wider screen or something. But yeah,
It'll just be bars,
yeah, which I hate bars. But that's pretty much everything we got for today. Any last thoughts on this?
I don't think so. I think we definitely exhausted all the knowledge we have right now, which is not much.
I wonder
Yeah,
if this was planned. The Switch 2 leak.
you
You
think
know?
it was planned?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just because the news about Nintendo has been kind of slow
Yeah.
lately. There's been
Gaming news
nothing
in
coming
general
out.
has kind of been slow lately.
Yeah. I wonder if it was just like to like drum up even more interest, like because it's making us talk about it. It's making
Yeah.
everybody talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's I always wonder about some of these leaks where they're like these people had these things like planned ahead of time. They're like, oh, it's been a little slow. I knew about this information like months ago.
Yeah.
I'm gonna release it now just because news have been kind of slow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you go on Twitter right now, like Switch 2 is trending.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And yeah, everybody's is talking about this news. Like I don't know if it's planned, but I do feel like,
Hey, man.
somebody figures it out, like gets in the know, and then they go ahead
Nintendo
and
might have some ninjas back there like doing some behind the shadow stuff, and like these leaks are like just little
yeah.
snippets they're letting people be aware of. So like, you know, they
Yeah.
could be playing those mind games for all we know.
I don't know. I don't think Nintendo would do that. They seem like a company that's very
Hey man, Iwata's not in charge anymore.
He's not. That is true. That's true. Iwata was a different type of person, and that is something that we talked about before. That with Iwata, Nintendo was totally different. Now we don't know what to expect from Nintendo because you have actually a businessman in charge, and
Yeah.
everybody knows how much I hate businessmen in charge because they just seem to ruin everything when it comes to gaming. Uh,
Was Willy Wonka a businessman? No, and look what he did.
he did good. He did good. Turned
Exactly.
business. Yeah,
He's the chocolate maker. Yeah.
exactly. Oh man. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I'm excited. I still love my Switch, even though I don't play it as much as I used to. Still a great console.
Same.
A gem. The last thing that Iwata worked on, before he passed away. So very precious there. And I guess the other big ask I would say is have Nintendo just bring everything to Switch or Switch 2, all their back catalog, right? They bring every single game that they published on Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, GameCube as well, right? Bring those GameCube games.
Man, their lawyers are gonna be busy going all through those licensing rights and whatnot.
They have the money. They there's that. What somebody was saying that Nintendo spends more money on lawyers than they do on their actual consoles and their actual hardware. Which is
R.I.P.
probably
Gary's
true.
mod.
Yeah, exactly. Poor Gary's mod. They did confirm that was Nintendo. Sucks. But yeah. Anyways, that's all we have for today. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We are sitting at 847 subscribers. So we actually gained one subscriber while doing the podcast. Pretty awesome. We have 153 subscribers to go. So hit that subscribe button, share the channel, does help out a lot, as well as follow us over at Twitch. I am planning to do a giveaway of some sort. Did you say something, fan?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you did. I am planning to do a giveaway of some sort once we hit 1,000 subscribers. I don't have everything ready, but by the time we hit 1,000, I definitely will have an announcement of how the giveaway is going to work, what I'm going to be giving away, and all that other good stuff. It will be a celebration. Also, some more celebration events of when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Yeah, fan, where can I catch you at?
Yeah, you guys can catch me on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, especially here on Saturdays and Thursdays with the random encounter. But
How about you, Bryant?
check me out, Phaneckswhy.
I'm on Twitter at red_so_deep. Quick plug: my dog was on a video. This girl that does video game covers on YouTube. Her name's Lacey Johnson. Her channel is like Lacey Johnson Music, I think, and she did a cover of the song from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and my dog is in it at about 13 seconds in. He runs in the snow, and it's very cute. And if you're having a bad day, go watch that video. It'll make you happy.
I did watch that video. I I don't like that song. It's very annoying. So the minute I saw it
It's
started, I was like,
catchy.
oh, okay. And I was like, oh,
It's still cute though.
yeah.
Admit it's cute.
Yeah, it's a cool. It's actually it's unique. It's something that I never would have thought about like doing.
Right. It's very well done.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Because I like watching video game music covers. Like I love video game music, and covers are always pretty unique. Everybody usually
Hate the song. She did a good job on it though. You got to
yeah.
admit.
Oh yeah, I agree. It sounds exactly like it. I was like, oh wow.
It does. Yeah.
And as always, you can catch me here at the Random Encounter. We'll have a video up this week, as long as I don't get sick. But should have a video up this week. We'll be showing off. I think I showed this off on the stream last time, but showing off the Neo S, which is a pretty cool controller. Actually, I have the controller right here.
Oh, that's controller.
Yeah, this is the controller. So,
Is that what is that? What can you use that with? Steam and PC or
Switch, PC, iOS, Mac, Android, basically everything but PS5 and Xbox.
okay, cool.
Burn it out. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Surprisingly, it's not that bad ergonomically because the square design makes it seem like, oh, this is gonna be pretty bad. But I was playing Smash, and wasn't that bad actually. Buttons are.
That's what the Switch 2 needs to do, James. The Switch 2 needs to go back to that translucent plastic. That needs to make a comeback.
That's the whole reason why I got this. I love this translucent with the colors, right?
Yep.
Another rumor that the Switch Joy-Cons are gonna have the colored buttons. The only thing I hate about this is the thumbsticks. The thumbsticks are. How do I take this off? I thought they just. Well, I don't want to break it. I thought they just pulled
James
off, but
breaks it
maybe
on
not.
stream.
Yeah, that
I
would
think you have to
suck.
twist it, right? Don't you have to like twist it
I
and
don't
pull?
think so. Because like with
No?
the Nitro deck, you just pull it off.
Oh,
This is
okay.
in there. I'm gonna figure it out
Yeah.
before I do. I'm gonna look in the manual, but they're
Is it
supposed
is
to
it
just come
both of
off
them or
and you
just
put it
one of
on.
them?
Both of them.
Okay.
I was gonna try to show you. Let me see if you can see it. Like you see the little. I don't like
All
the
the bumps
this.
on it,
Oh,
Yeah.
the little texture
little
on it.
bumps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like the
That is a
texture's
little
not.
weird.
It's not that bad. It actually helps with keeping your fingers on. I just will prefer something more
Oh,
like the PS5, right? Like I do prefer that style. Or the
or like
Gully kit.
Oh, with
Which
the
what?
Steam Deck, do you like those?
yeah, or the
Yeah,
Steam
Steam
Deck
Deck is
OLED.
basically
Yeah.
like this. Yeah.
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 The concave design. Yeah. So I don't like that, but you'll hear all my thoughts on my video this week. So thanks for watching. Thank you, Bryant. Thank you, fan. We will be back on Thursday with the group stream, and as always, every Saturday, catch us here doing the podcast. Thanks for watching.